The room is silent, too silent. A man stands in the center, breathing slow, controlled, almost unnatural in his stillness. 3 guns are pointed directly at his head. No panic, no movement, just a question cutting through the tension. Do you want to live? A normal man would beg. A desperate man would negotiate. But he doesn't. He simply says, I don't. Confusion flickers, a crack in certainty. And in that single second of hesitation, everything explodes. He moves, fast, brutal, precise. 3 shots, 3 bodies drop. No wasted motion, no second chances. Because the moment he said no, he took control. That's the paradox. That's the power. And this is exactly what John Wick teaches, without ever explaining it. But this story doesn't begin with violence. It begins with loss. Quiet, suffocating loss. Before the legend, there was just a man sitting beside a hospital bed, watching the only person who gave his life meaning slowly fade away. Helen dies not in chaos, but in silence. A final letter, a final memory, a final anchor. Psychologists describe this as emotional anchoring, when a single moment attaches itself so deeply to your identity that everything you become is shaped around it. In Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, there's a line that echoes here. When you cannot change your situation, you are forced to change yourself. But John didn't change. He withdrew. He said no to violence, to the past, to the world that once defined him. And for a brief moment, that no gave him peace. Then reality tested that peace. A car, his 1969 Mustang Boss 429, valued in collector markets at over $500,000. But its real worth wasn't money. It was memory. When they asked to buy it, he didn't negotiate. He didn't hesitate. He just said no. Calm, direct, final. And that's where something subtle begins. In negotiation psychology, refusal increases perceived value. Studies show that when something becomes unavailable, its desirability spikes, sometimes by over 30%. Scarcity creates obsession. The more you resist, the more the world leans in. And they leaned in hard. That night, they didn't ask again. They took. They broke into his home, beat him, stole the car, and killed the dog. Not just any dog. The last gift from Helen, a symbol of love, of healing, of something pure in a life filled with darkness. And just like that, everything shifted. The meaning of no changed. It wasn't peace anymore. It became a weapon. Robert Cialdini, in Influence, explains that humans are far more driven to recover what they've lost than to gain something new. Loss is louder than desire. It burns deeper. And John Wick didn't just feel that loss, he became it. What followed wasn't revenge driven by emotion. It was something colder, more controlled. When Vigo Tarasov hears what his son has done, there's no anger, only fear, a quiet, chilling realization. You killed John Wick's dog? He asks, already knowing the consequences. Because in that world, John isn't a man, he's a force. And the most dangerous part? He's not chasing anything. He's not asking. He's not negotiating. He has already decided. That's the core of reverse psychology 2.0. It's not about manipulating others. It's about positioning yourself so powerfully that your refusal creates pressure. When you chase, you lose value. When you withdraw, you become the prize. As John moves through the underworld, the tension builds not because of what he says, but because of what he doesn't. In the Red Circle Club, neon lights flash, music pulses, bodies move. But in the middle of it all, there's a different rhythm, precision, focus, elimination. In that single sequence, he takes down over a dozen targets, each movement calculated, each shot intentional. There's no hesitation, because hesitation lives in yes. Yes creates doubt. Yes invites delay. Yes seeks approval. But no is clarity. And clarity in his world is lethal. But even clarity has limits. Even control can break. The story doesn't stay at the peak, it drops hard. Marcus dies, trust shatters, Perkins betrays, and John, for the first time, is caught, tied up, beaten, stripped of control. The myth cracks, and what's left is just a man in pain, blood on his skin, bruises forming, breath heavy and uneven. This is where the illusion disappears, because power isn't permanent. As the 48 Laws of Power suggests, power is always situational. Even the strongest can fall when the environment shifts. And in that moment, John can't say no to what's happening to him. So he adapts. That's the difference. He doesn't stay broken. He doesn't stay down. He survives, breaks free, returns, not louder, not more emotional, but sharper. Because now he understands something deeper. Reverse psychology isn't just about controlling others, it's about controlling yourself. Saying no to distraction, no to weakness, no to the part of you that reacts instead of decides. In Atomic Habits, James Clear writes that every action is a vote for the person you want to become. And John stops voting for the man defined by laws. He starts becoming something inevitable.